I am not praising it because this is my particular school of Buddhism, but I'm stating this because this is simply the history. Yeshe Tsogyal continued to say that the practice you have given us are like essential nectar. Though I am a lowly woman, of this I have no doubt. Yeshe Tsogyal says that I have no doubt at all. However, sentient beings in the future generations will have profuse thoughts and tremendous aggression. They would be difficult to tame. They would probably have wrong views towards the holy Dharma. And in particular, they will blaspheme the supreme teachings of the sacred mantra. At that time, plague, famine, and war will be widespread amongst sentient beings, and in particular, China, Tibet, and Mongolia will be destroyed like ants' nests. As you may know, if you were to destroy the ants' nests, all the ants would gush out from the destroyed nests because they have nowhere to go. When we look at the world, now, the sentient beings in China, Tibet, and Mongolia, people would all get out. And in terms of the time period, Yeshe Tsogyal refers to is that at the time the sentient beings' numbers would decline and they would be affected in such a way. Because of the sentient beings has created all kinds of negative deeds. They are suffering, and the sentient beings, the poor sentient beings are suffering. Let's look at the sentient beings nowadays. The wildfire in Hawaii, apparently there are over 1,000 people reported lost, and over 100 people died. And it is still going on. It is still not put out. There are different descriptions or different reasons being said about the starting of the fire. Also, fire that's going on in Canada and different places. In another part of the world that is over here, we have flood, that many people died from flooding. And another part of the world that is having war currently. So we can see that the sentient beings are indeed not safe, not happy, and they're suffering. In terms of the weather, I really feel the weather is not good. It's not as good as before. It's not the same at all. When there is sun, I feel that I'm roasting under the sun, and in the past, whenever we would go to the meadows and sunbathing under the sun, it used to be really comfortable. But nowadays, I feel that going out and having those holidays in the summer is not necessarily a very comfortable experience, because I feel that the whole body aches. On the other hand, when it rains, it feels like someone cracked open a hole in the sky and it pours. Whenever we make observation of the weather, of the afflictions of people, when we make observation of the society, all kinds of catastrophes happen. Though that we hear from the media all kinds of propaganda or all kinds of sayings of how we're living happily and so on and so forth, we indeed hear the screams of sentient beings because they're suffering. Yeshe Tsogyal had already predicted such a time, saying that this is a time of terrible suffering that befall on Tibetans. In terms of the future, I really hope that all of you would not go to those readers and have predictions on whatever kinds of menial things that you would encounter in daily life. Because over here, this is a Shudra, this is a place to engage in steady practice of the Dharma, not a place, not a center for predictions, for reading predictions. Nowadays, there are people who, being burnt by hot water on their lips or had a nightmare, they would go to different readers to read their dreams. Around Sirta area, there are self-claimed mirror readers. There are a kind of prediction method that is called mirror reading prediction. And nowadays, because people are so drawn to making predictions, there are lots of self-claimed mirror readers. In Dudulin, over here, the Chinese Sangha, there are people that would self-claim that they are good at making predictions. When Ponzo Rinpoche was still with us, he did not like any of those mo predictions or fate telling or speaking of miraculous powers that they have. Those are the things that he disliked the most. Nowadays, I heard that there are people going around propagating their own names with such titles. Anyhow, the management team is currently talking about how to ask this group of people to leave, or how to make different kinds of regulations. But I think this particular phenomenon really shows that how foolish we are, how people nowadays really are drawn to different kinds of activities, including mo prediction and the readings. They would rely on it only, and if you were to do that, if you were to come to the so-called dakinis or other mo prediction readers, it is not the kind of habit that we agree with. On top of that, different lamas that really enjoy doing all kinds of readings and mo predictions really shows that they're not a good fit to be staying in the Shudra. I don't really want to speak too much of it, but I would like to share some of the information on it. If there are people who don't engage in true steady contemplation and practice and so on and so forth, there are people spreading fear by saying that, oh, this is really the end of the world. We're reaching the last stage, and human beings are going to be destroyed, and there is going to be more catastrophes next year and the year after. We'll have more obstacles and so on and so forth. If you had spread such rumors, I hope that you can change your speech from today onwards, and then gear your actions to steady contemplation and practice. If you can do that, I can give you another opportunity. If you don't change, then these kinds of people cannot stay here anymore, because the Shudra is a place for you to study. It is not a place for you to speak of all kinds of rumors. People nowadays have the habit to say that, oh, I got this mo prediction from so-and-so Toku, and I got so-and-so reading. And they would wonder, oh, why did I burn my lips when I drink water? Why did I have a nightmare? Why did I fall from the stairs? Why is it that I did so and so? People kept on asking those from more predictions. I think this is very foolish. Now, I've had 2 major operations, and I had not gone to any of those readers to get a more prediction. I simply chanted some mantras, and then I did not make my decision on whether I should get the operation through more prediction. I simply did a more prediction to see whether I should chant this mantra or that mantra. Now we need to use our wisdom to distinguish what we should do. We need to use our wisdom to make decisions on what we need to do. For example, if you already see that there is a tumor, then you know what to do. I had already translated 2 texts on mode predictions. One is the mode prediction of Manjushri and the other one of Avalokiteshvara. I can do it, but I think we need to have wisdom, and we need to focus more on the static contemplation instead of more predictions. Yeshe Togyo then continued to say that you have spoken of many ways to remedy these afflictions, but beings in the future will have no time to practice. Now, you had already, so Yeshe Togyo said that while Padmasambhava, you have already given teachings such as the Purba and such as the wrathful Padmasambhava, as well as a great numbers of extensive liturgy, but the beings of the Dark Age are extremely busy, and even if they want to practice, and there are all kinds of obstacles. What kinds of obstacles? For example, when we want to practice, there are all kinds of obstacles involved in the conflicts of schools of Buddhism, the conflicts of ethnics, and the conflicts of people having different intentions, and the conflicts of not having sufficient provisions. On top of that, our actions and behaviors are not in accordance to the Dharma, and that leads to the incapacity in starting the Dharma teaching, the Dharma practice, as well as ending them well. At that time, when all the vicious things and all kinds of obstacles are blocking us from practicing the Dharma, the only way to engage in practice is through relying on the mantra of Padmasambhava. So he over here says that. So over here, Yeshe Togyo said those who have a slight inclination towards practice will be beset by powerful obstacles. Beings who will not get along with one another, supplies and materials will be insufficient. Such terrible times as these will be extremely difficult to avert. In such times, Guru, what are the benefits of relying solely upon the practice of the Vajra Guru Mantra? For the benefit of the people who are weak, who have weak intellect in the future, I humbly entreat you to tell us. And then Padmasambhava says that, O Lady of Faith, you who have faith, what you say is absolutely true. In future times, in such future times, that practice will definitely be of short and long-term benefit for sentient beings. Although I have concealed many earth treasures, water treasures, and rock treasures, sky treasures, and so on, which contains unfathomable path instructions and methods of practice. In degenerated times, it will be terribly difficult for fortunate beings to find the conditions and the circumstances to meet with the teachings, this is a sign of me's merit is running out. Now, in terms of earth treasure, it is the treasures that's been hidden in places such as caves. For example, Ponsu Rinpoche revealed some of the treasures that's been concealed in caves, like the peaceful practice of the manjushri and purba practice. The places such as the terma that's revealed within water, such as the Vajrasattva practice that we have, was discovered or revealed from a lake. In terms of rock terma, Ponsu Rinpoche revealed a revealed a curricula liturgy that was from Thimphu. In terms of the sky terma or space terma, it was once that Ponsu Rinpoche was holding a katak, and he waved that katak in the space. Within a short period of time, we see that Ponsu Rinpoche hold a very small Buddha statue. Ponsu Rinpoche was with us. I think Khenpo Deba was also there. And there was another time Ponsu Rinpoche was practicing Tok offering with all of us, and he waved the katak in space. And then it feels like the Buddha statue just descended from space. Right away, Ponsu Rinpoche catched it